You found the company that you want to buy. You've looked into the financials and you're ready to move forward with the purchase of the company. And now you've been asked a question and you're not sure how to handle it. Do you want to structure the deal as an asset sale or as a stock sale? Now, a lot of the online content is going to tell you that you want to do an asset sale, but there are 5 disadvantages to an asset sale that we're going to talk about in this video. So before we get into that, we need to talk about what is an asset sale. So an asset sale occurs when you form a new entity, most likely an LLC, and that entity is going to buy the assets of the seller's company. Now, what if the company doesn't have assets? What if it's a service business? There's no real book value of equipment or real estate that you're acquiring here. In that case, the accounting term for that is goodwill. Goodwill is just a word that we use in accounting to define the purchase price of that business minus any tangible physical assets of that business. That difference is called goodwill. So let's say you're buying a company for $600,000 and it has $30,000 of equipment. That difference of $570,000, that is the value of the intangible assets of that business. That's why the business is selling for $600,000. That's called goodwill. And so you see in this case that even though the company only has $30,000 worth of physical, tangible assets, you can still use an asset sale in this case to buy that $600,000 company. Now, there are some tax benefits. There are some reasons why we would want to structure a deal as an asset sale, as you've probably read online. And namely for you as the buyer, there are going to be a lot of tax advantages to buying a company as an asset sale. You're going to be able to depreciate any assets that are purchased. You're going to be able to amortize the goodwill over the next 15 years of the life of the business. This is going to save you money on taxes from buying the assets of a company. But we're talking here about the disadvantages. And so we want to talk about 5 instances why you would not want to structure this acquisition as an asset sale. So the first disadvantage is that the seller is especially going to want it to be a stock sale. There are significant tax implications to a seller if it is done as an asset sale. And for this reason, most sellers will want or prefer a stock sale. This pits the buyer and the seller against each other in this situation. The reason for this, especially in an equipment-heavy business, is that the seller is going to pay a higher tax rate on any sales price that gets allocated to equipment in the acquisition of their company. So let's say that you're buying that company for $600,000, and the company is a manufacturing company. It's got $500,000 worth of equipment. That equipment is 10, 15 years old. It's been fully depreciated within that company. That $600,000, $500,000 of it is going to have to be allocated to the equipment within that company. That other $100,000 is going to be long-term capital gains rates, but that $500,000 representing the depreciated life of that equipment is going to have to be recaptured. This is an IRS term that means that they're not going to be able to benefit from the lower capital gains tax rates on the recapture of that depreciation because they've enjoyed the benefit of that depreciation at their ordinary rates over the course of running this business. Any gain that gets allocated to that equipment is now going to have to be recaptured at ordinary rates. And so this is a significant tax disadvantage to the seller. If the seller anticipates an asset sale for their business, they've probably already built this disadvantage into the sales price of that company. And so this is a discussion that you're going to want to have. It could actually be a negotiation tactic at the closing table if you tell the seller that you are interested in doing a stock sale rather than an asset sale, because they're going to have tax advantages in that case. The second disadvantage to an asset sale over a stock sale is that it is going to void or cause renegotiation on any outstanding contracts that might exist on that company. So because you are forming a new entity and the existing entity, the seller's entity, is going to close, all of those contracts need to be done between 2 new parties. You might lose access to a sweet government contract. There might be long-term AR, accounts receivable, out there for projects that have already been completed. Those customers have no loyalty to you to come over and be collected by your new entity. That seller might be in the middle of long-term construction projects, and so there are going to be deposits and there's going to be work in process that needs to transfer over to the new entity. One of our episodes of the Art of Succession podcast, I interviewed Adam Shea. You can find that episode right here. He actually talked about how selling his CPA firm, the deal was almost torpedoed up to the last week when his landlord found out that the SBA needed a renegotiation for the terms of the building that his CPA firm was occupying. And that landlord saw this as an opportunity to increase the rent on the buyer, and it was going to affect the buyer's cash flow so much that they might have had to back out of the deal. These are the kind of things that are going to come into play when you are closing one entity and opening another one. All of those contracts could be open for renegotiation. Now, I will say that there are some contracts that are written anticipating stock sales. And so anytime that there might be a corporate restructuring or a significant change in the ownership of that business, they might require renegotiation anyways. I know, for example, the SBA requires this even in a stock transaction. And there also could be possibly ways to work around this. You're going to want to work with a corporate attorney in the acquisition of a business so that you make sure that any of those advantageous contracts convey over to the new LLC. The third disadvantage is the administrative headache. So you are effectively starting a new company from scratch. This means that the accounting system needs to be set up from day one. If you're bringing over employees from the seller's company into the buyer's company, all of those employee details are going to have to transfer over. You're going to need to set up new state withholding accounts, state unemployment accounts. Any garnishments that those employees might have, such as child support, those are going to have to transfer over to the new business. Retirement accounts, accrued leave, all of these things might need to be transferred over to the new business, or you risk losing those key employees. If you're a business that operates in multiple states, you will also have to register in each of those states as a new foreign entity in order to do business there. That's a lot of administrative work that is necessary in an asset sale because, again, you are a new entity operating and taking over the business of an existing entity that is going to cease existing once all of those assets have transferred over. It's not as common in small business acquisition because we just don't deal with a lot of C corporations. But if there are things like net operating losses within the corporate structure of that C corporation, or possibly you've got tax credits that have been carried forward over a couple years, you'll be forfeiting those because you are closing the company and acquiring the assets through a new company. Whereas with a stock transaction, those benefits would convey over to the new owner of the stock of that C corporation. The fourth disadvantage is that asset sales don't really allow for any kind of progressive ownership in that company. When we're talking about small business succession, especially when it's parent to child, passing down the business to the next generation, could even be involved with mentor and key employee as well. There tends to be a couple steps in the acquisition of that business. So, for example, within 2 to 3 years of talking about the acquisition of that business, that incoming employee might get 10% of the company. They're now 10% owner. The seller is 90% owner. After a couple years of that, after they've proven their intent and they've really stepped up responsibility, that might move up to 40% of the business, an additional 30% granted, or even something like 49%, 51%. And then eventually, once the previous generation is ready to move on from the company, then 100% will move over to that key employee or that child who's now taken over the company entirely. That is very conducive in a stock transaction. It is not as easily done in an asset sale. And so oftentimes when you are talking about long-term companies that are continuing on into the next generation, we are talking about stock sales in those situations. And finally, the fifth disadvantage is that an asset sale could be riskier. You are a brand new entity. There's no proven track record that your business is going to succeed. You are basing it entirely off of the existing financials of the business that's about to close. Banks are going to require collateral. They're going to require better credit from you. In many situations, it's not going to be possible to use existing funds within the business to acquire the company, whereas with a stock sale, especially in a familial relationship, it might be possible to use the funds of the company to buy the stock from the parent generation, and then the incoming generation would gradually acquire stock of that company. All of that happens with the company funds. So it's a riskier situation. Like I said, Employees are going to reconsider whether they want to move over to the new entity. Customers are going to reconsider as they get the opportunity to renegotiate contracts. And so there's a lot of risk involved when you are buying the assets of a company. Now, I know that's a lot of information and it can feel overwhelming. There are a lot of moving parts in the acquisition of a business, and that is how we help our clients alongside an attorney, a banker, a financial advisor, a business broker, to make sure that all of these moving parts continue to move smoothly and transfer over to the new entity. Now, these disadvantages to an asset sale are not to say that you should automatically choose a stock sale. These are just some of the things that you want to consider during the due diligence process. I'm going to do a video next about the 5 disadvantages of a stock sale. And when that's live, you're going to be able to find it up here in the top corner. Otherwise, you're going to want to subscribe to this channel and all of the other videos that we have around acquisition and succession planning so that you can make the right decision for your business. But I want to thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.